How lovely it is to have Tim accompany our entrances, isn't it? It's just beautiful. Good morning to this wonderful day. Let us gather our senses to the presence in here of life longing for itself, of hope finding form, so that we can choose our ways to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to come to a fullness of peace and love with one another. It's good to be together. Let's sing hymn number 83, Winds Be Stilled. It's in the gray hymnal. Please rise as you are able in body and or spirit, and it is a wonderful harmony. So if anybody wants to read into it, you go.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is Amy Cavadlo, and I am a member of our worship committee. If you are having trouble hearing us, please raise your hand here in the meeting house or message us in the chat function of Zoom. We are so glad you have chosen to be here with us this morning or to join us virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you are joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You will find information about First Parish in your pew. One of the greeters or I would be happy to answer any questions you have, and any of us would welcome the opportunity to walk with you to the parish hall after the service. I say not to social hour because this gets us to one of my announcements, which I'll get to. The work of living our faith is done in and out of worship, so I call your attention to the many printed announcements that came with your order of service or found in the emailed link. But in particular, there are a number of items of note. Today, after the service, is the Christmas holiday fair. I had the opportunity to check it out. It is huge, what's going on in there. There is so much excitement, and it just makes me think of the expression, seek and you shall find, because when somebody asks somebody to do something in this congregation, boy, it's done big. I think there's something for everybody there. It looks like a very fun event. The other thing is that on next Sunday, as you know, there are going to be 3 services. There is truly something for everybody because the first service in the morning is a service of Christmas carols, and Tim has asked that if anybody has a favorite song they would like us to sing, to please get in touch with him. Then there is the pageant that Louise and the pageant committee has been working on with great enthusiasm. And then the 10 p.m. service, please plan to come early for that service on Christmas Eve to enjoy some special music. Christmas solos by Grace Allendorf, Brandon Grimes, and Dana Farger, as well as violinist Hannah Solomon. This pre-service music will begin at 9:45 p.m. Now, let us take a few minutes to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new. For those on Zoom, please turn on your video and go to gallery view so we can say hello to others.
Hi, Lori.
Hi there. How are you? Are
I'm
you?
well. How are you? Hi, Eve. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm sorry today I'm not feeling well, so I'm not in person, but my family is there.
Oh, okay, good. Good. That's yeah, I had a concert last night and I just was like, you know what? I can't I can't get out to do, and I've got singing tomorrow. I've got a thing this afternoon. I was just like, you know what? I need to just take my time and stay home. How are you, Carl? You're muted.
You're muted. We can't hear you, Carl.
I'm doing good. We probably have to get back.
Get back. You mean, oh, look, no, they're still having a
Oh,
cocktail.
they're still
Yeah.
chatting. Oh, they're
Yeah.
doing big. Yeah, they're starting to do big chats now. Lisa walks around the whole church, and
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
yeah. So yeah, no, it's what's going to happen today with weather. I was going to go for a hike, but is it going to rain? When's
It may rain, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, Eve, I hope you feel better.
Thank you so much.
Okay, see you all later.
You guys.
Now, as we enter into worship, please take a moment to make sure your cell phones are silenced. Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves and the divine, when we can choose to just be present. Grace, I'd like you to come forward to light the chalice. Thank you. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. There's another Grace here. Okay, let's see. Come. Each Sunday, we light the chalice as a reminder that hope, love, and faith still abide. Please join in the call to worship. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. And now, in this season of Advent, we are lighting the Advent candle, the candle 3 for joy. We light this third Advent candle for the power of joy. Joy rises from the thrill of being alive, giving birth to possibility. Joy sends ripples of hope and courage in feeling the gift of life. We light this candle in gratitude for the joy that defies cynicism and doubt. This light shines in the darkness and says, "Fear not, joy still abides."
So today is a very special day where we get to welcome folk who have chosen to sign the membership book and become members of our faith community. And in Unitarian Universalist faith communities, this is a willing choice to enter into a larger group body to do the work of justice, peace, love, and compassion, and to help one another. It's something where we feel like each of us are a little piece of the universe, and the more people that come and share who they are, the more we understand who we are in the largest sense. So it's a wonderful day where people come and say, we will help build this community with you. So we'll have Leslie McPherson come up, membership chair, and bring folk up. And you'll just have to kind of stand there for a while, but that's okay. You don't have to stand for very long. I will go get it.
Good morning. I feel like I'm going to burst with joy. I'll just say that. If you've thought to yourself, gosh, it seems like we have more new people among us, the answer is you are 100% correct. We do have a bunch of new people with us, and I am thrilled to be able to welcome a bunch of them here to the church today with all of you. It's not just me. We are communally welcoming a bunch. And Yves, if you could put on your screen, one of them is on Zoom, Yves Sonet. So Yves, if you could, there you go. So that's Yves. If the rest of you could come up. Come on up, you new folks. Look at this bunch. So each of them has written up a little bio, which I'm going to read. It's in your order of service, but there's a couple that didn't make it, and I'm gonna read all of them. So I'm going to read, and you can wave so everybody knows who you are. First, we have Tess Clearman, who says, I'm a family physician at Boston Medical Center and Codman Square Health Center in Dorchester, with special interest in maternal health. I have a lifelong love of music and may be interested in joining the choir. Choir's happy. I'm a big nature lover, and we frequently go on hikes, bike rides, and camping trips as a family. With Tess is Ethan Dial. I'm sorry, I realized I didn't even know how to say that. I should have asked. Ethan grew up going to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tallahassee, where youth group and mountain camp were big parts of his adolescence. After a 2-decade-long spiritual and intellectual road trip, he is feeling a deep joy to be returning home to the UU faith. Catherine Hutchinson says, I'm a nurse midwife at BMC and a professor of nursing at BC. I love baking, spending time with my family, and reading. I'm so happy to be joining First Parish. Eve Sine, who's up there, says, I'm originally from Switzerland and have a background as a humanitarian worker. I currently work as a program manager in public health research and innovation. Happy to join First Parish and hope to contribute to make our community more environmentally friendly and just. J.R. Souza says, a Milton resident for 15 plus years. In the past few years, I lost my mother and father in a short time of each other, which started my spiritual journey. On Sunday morning after COVID restrictions were lifted, I attended a Sunday service and felt at peace and have been attending ever since. Ben Warzeski says, I moved up to the Boston area from New Orleans by way of a couple years in DC around 2013, bouncing from tech company to tech company. I'm a musician by passion, but not by trade, and will be joining the choir when I can, mitigated by my other main passion, being dad to 2 crazy, adorable kids. I grew up with a big mix of religions being pushed at me as true, and what stuck with me was mostly Wiccan spiritualism and UU open-mindedness. Kelsey Warzeski says, I moved to Massachusetts in 2013 and moved to Milton in 2020. I grew up in an Episcopal church that was a very important community for me growing up, and I've been looking for a home church since moving to Massachusetts, and I'm happy to have found First Parish. And with them are these cuties, Lucas, who is 7 years old, and Calliope. And Ethan, what is your child's names?
This is Thea.
Thea.
Thea is a first grader at Glover Elementary School.
Okay.
She's a very good teacher.
Woo.
And this is Phoebe Dial. She's a preschooler at Tucker.
Okay. So these are our new people. Oh, and Trisha, I'm sorry. Did you give us your bio? Oh, there it is. It's on the back. Whew.
They actually gave her.
You're right. I'm so sorry. Okay, Trisha Chuntu says, I graduated from medical school in China with a degree in herbal medicine and acupuncture. I worked as an acupuncturist in Attleboro, Mass. since 1982 until retirement in 2017. I've taken a number of classes in music composition and just completed my most recent class this April at Berklee College of Music. Okay. Whew. Thank you for keeping me. Yeah, I was going to say. So, if we could all read, because we are all welcoming this fabulous group together, the words of welcome that are in your order of worship. We welcome you, J.R. Souza, Catherine Hutchinson, Trisha Chiltu, Tess Clearman, Eve Sine, Kelsey and Ben Warzeski, and Ethan Dale, to First Parish in Milton. As members of this church, we welcome all to build a
So now is the time for us to just take in all the energy that's in this room, all the energy that's in your being. Take comfortable breaths and let yourself be intimate with the universe, breath by breath, body by body.
The reading today is an excerpt from Revolutionary Love by Valerie Kaur. To wonder is to cultivate a sense of awe and openness to others' thoughts and experiences, their pain, their wants and needs. It is to look upon the face of anyone or anything and say, "You are a part of me I do not yet know." Wonder is an orientation to humility, recognizing that others are as complex and infinite to themselves as we are to ourselves. Wondering about a person gives us information for how to love them. You can practice wonder for all others, animals, trees, living beings, and the earth. Wonder gives you the information for how to care for them. Wonder is the wellspring of love.
As I was thinking of this sermon, the Christmas folk tune, I Wonder As I Wander, kept coming up for me. Most of you probably know it. I wonder as I wander out under the sky, how Jesus the Savior did come here to die. Now, I don't believe that Jesus came here to die, any more than the rest of us do. That is, die. By our nature, we're born and we die. What happens between is shared life. Jesus wasn't born to die. He was born to live, to come alive. And in his spiritual genius, his gifted understanding, he was trying to communicate the wisdom, the wonder, the way of life's possibility and fullness. This is an important distinction. Do we choose life or choose death? Are we here to die and make death, or are we here to live and come alive? Do we promote suffering and sacrifice, or thriving and letting go of what gets in the way? Right now, a lot of challenges are in our days. And this wondering is going on in the world. There are devastating wars, rampant dehumanization, dangerous denial of climate change, political efforts to take away autonomy, deep turmoils of us and them, zero tolerance, and lack of moral clarity. Are we choosing as a species to live or to die? Are we giving up? The wandering composer John Jacob Niles did this wondering under the sky. And when I take morning walks, it is clear that we are wired for wonder, equipped with noticing beauty, invited to live. And oh, New England skies in winter, aren't they amazing? Since the beginning of recorded history, humans have sought signs in the cosmos for hope and guidance. The luminescence of a star captures our imagination as we sense somehow distantly, yet in a quiver of thought, that there is a connection between the star and the spark of life within us. Somehow we're of the same cosmos, akin to all that is. There was a star danced, and under that I was born, comes a line from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Out of the stars in their flight, writes Robert Weston, out of the dust of eternity, here we have come, stardust and sunlight mingling through time and through space. How can this wonderful life come to be? Simply to discard it, destroy it, deny it? How can we come here to die? The poet John O'Donohue, in the book Walking in Wonder, Eternal Wisdom for a Modern World, reminds us that each one of us is the custodian of an inner world that we carry around with us. A bit of the universe that I was talking about. He's also known to have said that we are sacraments of possibility. Isn't that a great phrase? Sacraments of possibility. What's also true about a great expanse of sky is that along with wonder comes a feeling of vulnerability, even a fear of exposure, a dread that it's too much to handle, too much to comprehend. The Psalms of the Bible were written in the desert as the writers pondered the overwhelming and awe-inspiring sky. Psalms were written as letters to what might be called God. When I consider your heavens, comes Psalm 8. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is humankind that you are mindful of us? Human beings that you care for them? And the answer, of course, is in the living of our lives. It's hard to think about the Christmas birth narratives this year. Hard to think of Palestine, to bring ourselves to the magical metaphors which speak of the promise of peace. Yes, we can say that that was then and this is now, but the narratives are about the possibilities of now. And right now, it's hard to see possibilities. The Christmas narratives offer a thread of messaging to open ourselves up to the new, to more than we've known before, to a humility and a wonder of life. The themes interwoven speak to protecting the vulnerable, welcoming the stranger, and expanding our worlds through new relationships. The story of the Magi can speak to the venture and courage needed for these times. The Magi are three legendary wise folk who, after beholding a star that stirred them to action, traveled from the east to seek wisdom for a shift in consciousness toward peace and justice. These travelers knew they would be strangers in a strange land. They braved setting aside traditions, hazarded rough terrain, and risked persecution as foreigners. The wonder of the star compelled them to venture the birth of a new being and a new way of seeing. In the light of a shining star, three wise men came from country far. A familiar line from the carol, The First Noel. The Magi were perhaps from the priestly caste of Persia and perhaps Zoroastrians, who are the earliest believers in monotheism, even before Judaism. Many wonder whether they were astrologers, those who looked to the night sky for signs to help guide people on earth. It's important to know that star worship was condemned as idolatry in ancient Israel, and so an important part of the story. The wise folk risked alienation to come into a land that would normally condemn them for their practices. They brought with their audacity a larger sense of our potential as human beings. For their journey was about birthing a new way of being, which needed the risk of meeting strangers, to come to recognize each other as part of the possibility of world peace. By crossing the cultural and geographic boundaries, the wise folk opened windows to view a grander world, full of the unknown, open to transformation, willing toward spiritual evolution. And this is the path we all must take to prepare ourselves for a world of peace, to come into our wisdom of shared being. They practiced radical welcome and inspired it in those in the manger. This kind of welcome, beyond boundaries, is the practice of courageous love, even revolutionary love. Valerie Kaur's reading this morning comes from her book, Revolutionary Love. To wonder is to cultivate a sense of awe and openness to others' thoughts and experiences, she writes, their pain, their wants and needs. It is to look upon the face of anyone or anything and say, "You are a part of me I do not yet know." Wonder is the wellspring of love. Valerie Kaur is a Sikh civil rights activist and lawyer. She images her peace activism in the framing that America is waiting to be born. She speaks of the bold and noble aspiration of we the people, overrepresented in the original crafting by white male landowners, but summoned and prodded to a more expansive inclusivity by the power of the words and the aspirations. And as a Sikh, she knew much of persecution, especially after 9/11, when folk thought that Sikh who wore turbans should be feared and even killed. Kaur uses the metaphor of birth to encourage both breathing and pushing, taking in nourishment that strengthens, breathe, and then keeping on, pushing possibility forward. Stay in the labor, she says, for America to evolve. America's ongoing process to becoming has never been easy, nor free of deep pain, like labor. Breathe, push. This doesn't make this unnerving time easier, but it does point to our inborn resilience and capability of shared being. Right now, we see stark divisions and othering that are pronounced and threatening, and yet we can still choose life for all. And this is not new to these times. Martin Luther King Jr. addressed the need to birth a new way of being in his acceptance speech for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Sooner or later, he said, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together in peace and thereby transform this pending cosmic elegy into a creative psalm of kinship. If this is to be achieved, he said, humanity must evolve for all human conflict, a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. I feel more urgently that the tender work of life affirmation with and for each other not only heals our wounds, but reweaves our social fabric. We've seen this kind of radical work in the last few decades through truth commissions, sometimes called commissions of truth and reconciliation. The first one that caught true global attention was that of South Africa after the end of apartheid in the 1990s, inspired by the leadership of Nelson Mandela. Bishop Desmond Tutu served as chairperson of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission in the 1990s. Tutu sought to apply the principle of restorative justice in contrast to retributive justice, or retributive justice, that he believed would not achieve lasting peace in a post-apartheid South Africa. Restore, not revenge. When there is injustice, invariably peace becomes a casualty, he said at his 1984 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech. 10 years later, he said, for our nation to heal and become a more humane place, we had to embrace our enemies as well as our friends. The same is true the world over. True enduring peace between countries, within a community, within a family, he says, requires real reconciliation between former enemies and even between loved ones who have struggled with one another. End quote. Some of the essential elements for this are de-escalation of violence, true efforts toward healing, advocacy beyond borders, and bridge building. We are all capable of all of that. The myth of the wise folk risking a status of strangers in a strange land speaks to advocacy beyond borders, bringing the treasures of their outreach, their effort, and their gestures of generosity speaks to building bridges. And avoiding Herod's violence as he sought to destroy the baby Jesus brings a hope, a true journey to choosing life. Finding the worth and dignity of each being in this interdependent web of existence inspires a wise love that can discern distortions and heal brokenness. Knowing that we're all in this swirl of life together arouses a larger wisdom that can identify damaging ways of being. I believe that in these tumultuous times, it's important to build solidarity with those who choose life for all and health for humanity. We cannot do this indiscriminately. We must be wise in our choices. We have light within that can guide us to the work and the recognition of the many others who share this hope, this work. It is our aspiration here at First Parish, trippingly, lovingly, compassionately, to build a just and healthy world. Let us find coalition individually and collectively who choose this liberative life for all. Take care. Behold the wonder and find the well springs for love. We can do this. So may it be. Amen. And let's sing hymn number 1059. May Your Life Be as a Song. It's a shorty, so we're going to do it 3 times. And if you feel like making it into a round, go for it. Please rise as you are able in body and or spirit. Let's join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Blessed One, as mysterious One, one that pervades and infuses all things beyond our knowing and within our being, come to us. Help guide us through these times. Help us believe in that invitation to live, and help us help others come alive. May we be gentle in our brokenness and bold in our love. And all the concerns and anxieties and worries, hear them, hold them, and let us walk through with them and make the choices needed to heal and help and find peace. A local prayer is from Mary Blanchette. My friend and cousin Joyce died suddenly on Friday. Let's hold that sadness in love. And may memories and resonances of Joyce live deeply and widely. And for all the prayers unspoken but lifted up, let us hold them in love. Amen.
The offering today will be given to Thrive Gulu. Mike Bello, the Board of Directors Chair, will be speaking. Thrive Gulu assists communities in post-conflict northern Uganda to heal from the traumatic effects of war, sexual exploitation, extreme poverty, and the resulting loss of opportunities. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Let me begin by thanking First Parish for this opportunity once again to receive the donations to share the plate, and also all my First Parish friends that give to Thrive throughout the year. I really appreciate it so much, and there's so many of you that do it. I'm the chair of Thrive Gulu. Strange name. Gulu is a place in Uganda. It's one of the larger cities in the north of Uganda. It's a unique Thrive itself is a unique women-led community organization. It focuses on mental health, trauma healing, functional and financial literacy, and economic empowerment throughout northern Uganda and now elsewhere. It was established initially to work with the survivors of the 22-year brutal civil war that racked Uganda, but it continues today in post-conflict Uganda in areas throughout the north, and it exists as a small NGO when the majority of NGOs packed up and left after the war. There was no longer any need, as if 22 years of war didn't still have some needs. So we are unique in the fact that we've stayed. We're also now working with a large number of displaced refugees from South Sudan, which is just on the border. There have been over 1 million refugees from South Sudan, which is in civil war. There are so many wars in the world, I think people just don't recognize where they are and how many people are affected. We've been asked through the last couple of years to replicate the program throughout sub-Saharan Africa, since we're one of the few mental health programs. One of the questions I often get is, why should I give to Africa? There's so many places to give money to, and the answer that we've all come up with is, when you give, you should give to Africa because a person in need somewhere is a person anywhere. And it's because the dollar in Uganda goes very, very far. We're now serving tens of thousands of people in there. Our psychosocial support groups and economic empowerment groups are now in every district in the north. This year alone, our Girl Shine counseling groups have helped hundreds of child mothers, many of them as young as 13 years old, get back to school and sustain their babies and themselves. We provided, our community organizers have identified and supported this year alone over 1,000 cases of gender-based violence. Every day, suicides are prevented by our counselors, community workers, mobile mental health workers, and every day small businesses are launched by individual women and men through our microfinancing loans and through our 58 economic empowerment groups throughout the whole country. Thousands of people have saved money for their schools through our village savings and loans programs. People in Africa have to pay school fees even though education is supposed to be free. And every day, large groups and villages throughout rural Africa are learning to read and write through our literacy programs. We have partnered with and have been respected by a variety of larger partners, including the UN Trust Fund for the Violence Against Women, CARE International, the UN High Commission on Refugees, Save the Children International, just to name a few. So they kind of give the program the seal of good housekeeping seal of approval, so you know that your bucks go to our beneficiaries. I really appreciate it. I appreciate this church's generosity, and thank you for helping all of our survivors become thrivers.
To give, please follow the directions printed in your order of worship or shown on the Zoom screen. For those in the meeting house, you may also deposit cash or check into the collection plate located at the main or side entrances at the end of the service. Please support Thrive by giving as generously as you can. And now, please stand. No? Oh, sorry.
It lives in the seed of a tree as it grows. You can hear it if you listen to the wind as it blows. I feel it in the love that I know we need so much. And I know it in your smile, my love, when our hearts do touch. Oh, mystery rushing through the ocean of my heart that's open wide. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I feel you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy sound. You are all of life, and it is to you that I sing. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything.
Now, please join in saying the unison dedication. Please stand if you're able, and if you want, you can stand for the benediction and remain standing for the doxology. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity.
And as I douse the chalice flame, may the flame of our faith burn deep and wide within us, and in this word of benediction and then song of benediction, may we take our lives out into the world and be beacons of love and light. Let us sing together.